Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Hey Guy podcast. I am your host, Striker, and today I am going to be talking about my favorite cartoons from my past of all time. Let's take a look at what is on my list. What could be on your list? Do we have the same ones? Who knows? But we're going to get into that here in about 1 minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome again. It is Striker with the Hey Guy podcast. And like I just said, I am going to get into my favorite cartoons of all times. There is a few, one or two on my list that are not cartoons, but they kind of they went with the whole Saturday morning, thing with cartoons. But yeah, I think this is going to be very interesting, and maybe some that's on my list is your favorite also. So when you see this, drop a comment, and let me know. Say, hey, I like this cartoon also, or this show. Um, I'd like to hear from you, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos on the Hey Guy podcast on YouTube, and also check out the Hey Guy podcast page on Facebook. Sorry, my cat was out there sneezing and he was rather loud. I don't know if you heard him, but sorry. It it got me a little bit flustered there for a second because I wasn't sure what was going on. But anyway, but let's get into it. Growing up, Saturday mornings was always the thing with cartoons. And then during the week, you would wake up for school. There would be some cartoons on in the mornings before you went to school, and cartoons back when I was growing up was so good. I know it's a different time now, but cartoons just don't seem to be the same to me nowadays. I mean, I know it's a whole new world, but it is what it is. Growing up, in the 80s, early 90s, cartoons were the best. I loved them. So, um, the first one I got on my list, and a lot of you know I'm a big wrestling fan. And so this one comes to no surprise. It was Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon. That was an absolute, you know, favorite of mine. I loved watching that cartoons on Saturdays with a bowl of cereal. All these cartoons, you always had to have a bowl of cereal or a Pop Tart while you was watching. Loved it. Like I said, loved Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Um, Another one is the Flintstones. How could you not love the Flintstones? The Flintstones was one of the very best cartoons that was ever made that I've seen. Uh, it would be in my top five. Um, love the Flintstones. Fred, Barney, Wilma, all of them, and Dino. I mean, how can you not love Dino? So yeah, so Flintstones. Um, how about any Tom and Jerry fans out there? Tom and Jerry is on my list also. I love Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is a is a classic, man. Loved watching Tom and Jerry. They were always going at it, and how can you not love Tom and Jerry? The next one is I can kind of relate to this right now because I'm kind of going through it, but with my cat, Phil, Garfield. Garfield was a good one. I got the real life Garfield right now. He's a he's a big cat. I love Phil to death. But yeah, Garfield was one of the ones that I had to watch. Moving on, the Smurfs. If you didn't watch the Smurfs, I mean, you you wasn't growing up, man. I tell you what, the Smurfs was probably one of the best, gosh, cartoon classic cartoons. What I don't want to say they weren't one of my favorites, but they wouldn't make my top 5. But I watched them. I enjoyed it. Gargamel, Um, so the next one I have on my list, and like I said earlier, this one is not a cartoon, but I was really, really big on this show when I was younger. And I may get some heat for this, but I don't care. I mean, it was one of the ones I had to watch, and it was Pee Wee's Playhouse. How can you not love Pee Wee? Pee Wee's Playhouse was, you know, it was so it was so weird, but it was funny, and I loved it. You know, oh my gosh, you know, um, talking about these cartoons is bringing up so many memories. I remember, sitting on the couch and watching Pee Wee. I mean, I love Pee Wee's Playhouse. I mean, it's unfortunate, what happened with him, but hey, whatever. I mean, I still loved Pee Wee's Playhouse. This next one, I don't I remember watching vaguely. I don't think I was too high on it. I think I just watched it because it was on, but it was He-Man. Wasn't too big on He-Man. Like I said, vaguely remember watching this, but um, the next one was the Ghostbusters. How can you not love the Ghostbusters? The movie, the cartoon, the Ghostbusters, the cartoon was I loved it. I do remember that one. Um, gosh, as I'm looking at this list, um, my next one, I'm gonna leave my very favorite cartoon for last. But this next one is Inspector Gadget. How many of you remember Inspector Gadget? Do any of you would that make your list of top 5 cartoons, Inspector Gadget? Um, I loved Inspector Gadget. He'd be flying around with his helicopter, going. Loved Inspector Gadget. All right, I gotta skip that with the next one because that's my favorite. But the next one I got is Beetlejuice. Do any of you guys and gals remember Beetlejuice? Um, I don't think it lasted too long, but I do remember watching that. I loved watching Beetlejuice. Um, how about Tiny Toons Adventures? Loved Tiny Toons. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Um, God, it's one of them things. These are bringing back memories. My mom, making me breakfast. Like I said, you're watching Saturday cartoons and you're eating a bowl of cereal. You don't care. You're just eating a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons for 2 hours at a time. Or it. God, I love. Oh, I wish I can go back to the cartoons back then and just, gosh, the memories. Um, Next up, the Jetsons. How many of you like the Jetsons cartoon? I love the Jetsons. And we're not too far away from that, flying cars, stuff like that. So, we can kind of relate. We're getting closer and closer and closer to almost living out the being the real life Jetsons. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'll run through my list real quick one more time for you, and then I'm going to tell you what my all time favorite cartoon is. First one I had up was Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, the Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, Garfield, the Smurfs, Pee Wee's Playhouse, He Man, Ghostbusters, Inspector Gadget, Beetlejuice, Tiny Toons Adventures, The Jetsons, and lastly, my all time favorite cartoon of all time. And I'm sure it is on many people's list of all time favorite cartoons. What do you think it is? I'll let you think about it for five, four, three, two, one, and Scooby Doo. How many of you love Scooby Doo? That is my all time favorite cartoon of all time. Scooby Doo, you know, the how can you not love Scooby Doo? Scrappy Doo. I love Scrappy Doo too. How many of you remember Scrappy Doo? Um, man, Scooby Doo was the very best cartoon, in my opinion, of all time. I love Scooby Doo. Ruh Fred, I love Scooby Doo, and when I'm flipping through the channels and I see Scooby Doo is on, I still stop and watch it. I just watched it a few days ago, and I tell you what, we've came a long way with cartoons from the way they look then to now. But love, 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 love Scooby Doo. Um, Tell me what some of your favorite cartoons are. Uh, Drop a comment and let me know what cartoons you liked. Please make sure to like this video. And if you liked it so much, share it so that the masses could see it. I would greatly appreciate that so much. But I hope you enjoyed this show today. My favorite cartoons slash shows, because uh, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Rest, or I'm sorry, Pee Wee's Playhouse was not a cartoon, but it still made my list. So let me know, please. Like I said, please like this video, share it. Um, but until next time, I am Striker with the Hey Guy podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.